Everyone believed my sister. I didn't. Not for a second. Because I knew something wasn't right. The way she smiled. The way she spoke. The way she avoided certain questions. It wasn't fear. It was practice. And that was the part that stayed with me. The way she had practiced her happiness. I'm not someone who jumps to conclusions. I've always been the quiet one. The one who watches. The one who notices things others ignore. Growing up, my sister Claire was everything I wasn't. Confident, charming, effortless in every room she walked into. People loved her. Teachers, friends, even strangers. She had a way of making people feel like they mattered. And maybe that's why no one ever questioned her. Not even when they should have. Our family was built around her. Every holiday, every celebration, every conversation somehow came back to Claire. I didn't resent it. Not at first. I just learned to stay in the background. To observe. To listen. That habit stayed with me into adulthood. Claire married Daniel when she was 28. He was older, successful, polished. The kind of man who knew exactly what to say. Our parents adored him immediately. Everyone did. Their wedding looked perfect. Everything about their life looked perfect. The house, the vacations, the photos online. Claire would post smiling pictures almost every week. Perfect lighting, perfect captions, perfect happiness. People would comment things like "You're living the dream," couple goals, "So happy for you," and she always replied the same way, "I'm so lucky." But something about those photos bothered me. It wasn't obvious. It was subtle, too subtle for most people. But I noticed. Her eyes never matched her smile. Not once. At first, I told myself I was overthinking. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe I was projecting. But then the small things started adding up. She stopped calling me. Not gradually. Suddenly, Claire used to call me at least twice a week. After she got married, it dropped to once a month. Then less. When we did talk, it felt controlled. Like she was choosing every word carefully. Like someone else might be listening. I asked her once if everything was okay. She laughed. Too quickly. Of course it is. That answer didn't sit right. Not because of what she said, but how she said it. I decided to visit her. Unannounced. Something I had never done before. When I arrived, Daniel opened the door. He smiled. Polite. Measured. But his eyes didn't welcome me. They evaluated me. Like I wasn't expected. Like I wasn't part of the plan. Claire came downstairs a minute later. She looked beautiful. Perfect, like always. But when she saw me, there was a split second. Just one. Where her face dropped. Not sadness. Not anger. Something else. Something closer to panic. Then it was gone. Replaced by that same practiced smile. "Why didn't you tell me you were coming?" Her voice was light, but her hands were tense. I stayed for dinner. Everything felt staged. Daniel controlled the conversation. What we talked about. What we didn't. Claire barely spoke unless he looked at her. And when she did, she checked his reaction. Every time. That's when I knew. She wasn't just lying to everyone else. She was living inside something she couldn't control. And whatever it was bigger than I had imagined. I didn't confront her that night. Not yet. Because I didn't have proof. Only instincts. And instincts aren't enough when everyone else believes the opposite. So I started paying attention. Carefully. Quietly. The way I always had. Over the next few weeks, I called her more often. Short conversations. Simple questions. Nothing that would raise suspicion. At first, everything sounded normal. Too normal. Like she had memorized a script. But then I started noticing patterns. She never picked up when Daniel was home. Only when he wasn't. If I called at the wrong time, she wouldn't answer. She would text later. Always with short replies. Always neutral. Never emotional. That wasn't Claire. Claire was expressive. Talkative. Open. This version of her felt edited. Filtered. Controlled. One night, she called me unexpectedly. Her voice was low, almost whispering. I can't talk long. That alone told me everything. I didn't ask questions. I let her speak. There was a pause. Longer than usual. Then she said something that changed everything. I think I made a mistake. The line went quiet. I felt my chest tighten. What do you mean? Another pause. Then I can't explain right now. I need time. The call ended. Just like that. No explanation. No follow-up. Nothing. That was the moment I stopped guessing and started investigating. I began looking into Daniel. Not publicly. Quietly. Financial records. Business connections. Anything I could legally access. What I found didn't make sense at first. On paper, he was successful, stable, respected. But beneath that there were gaps. Transactions that didn't line up. Properties registered under different names. Accounts connected through indirect ownership. It wasn't illegal. Not clearly. But it wasn't clean either. Then I found something that hit harder. Claire's name. On documents she should not have been part of. Joint accounts. Shared liabilities. Legal responsibilities tied to Daniel's business. But not ownership. Not control. Just risk. She wasn't his partner. She was his shield. That realization made everything clear. The silence. The distance. The controlled conversations. She wasn't just unhappy. She was trapped. Legally. Financially. And probably emotionally too. I needed confirmation. Not assumptions. So I went back. This time, I told her in advance. Daniel wasn't home. Claire looked different. Not physically, but emotionally. Less guarded, still careful, but not as controlled. We sat in the kitchen. No distractions. No interruptions. I didn't ease into it. I went straight to the point. You're on his accounts. Her face froze. I saw the documents. Silence filled the room. For a long moment she said nothing. Then she exhaled slowly, like she had been holding her breath for months. I didn't know at first. Her voice cracked, just slightly. He said it was normal. He said it was for tax purposes. I didn't interrupt. She needed to say it. All of it. I trusted him. That word hung in the air. Trusted. Past tense. That told me everything. We didn't need to say the word. But we both knew it. This wasn't just a bad marriage. This was manipulation. Calculated. Structured. And designed to keep her dependent. I asked her one question. Do you want out? She didn't answer immediately. She looked down at her hands. Then back at me. And for the first time in months her expression wasn't practiced. It was real. Yes. That single word changed everything. Because now it wasn't about suspicion anymore. It was about action. I had already gathered enough information. Enough to understand how deep this went. But now I needed something else. Leverage. We started carefully. Quiet steps. Nothing sudden. Nothing that would alert Daniel. I connected her with a lawyer. Someone experienced in financial control cases. Someone who understood how people like Daniel operated. The more we uncovered, the worse it became. He had used her name to secure liabilities, but kept assets separate, protected, untouchable, except for one mistake, one small detail he overlooked. A property, registered early in their marriage, before everything became complicated, before he started hiding things, and that property was in her name, fully, not shared. Not controlled. Hers. That was our opening. The lawyer moved fast. Strategic. Precise. We didn't confront him emotionally. We confronted him legally. The shift was immediate. The man who controlled every room lost control. Not gradually. Instantly. Because control like his only works when the other person doesn't fight back. Claire filed. Not just for separation. For protection. Financial and legal. Daniel didn't see it coming. He tried to maintain composure. At first. But the cracks showed quickly. Because for the first time he wasn't dictating the narrative. The truth was, everyone believed my sister. But they believed the version she showed them. The version she had been forced to perform. The version that wasn't real. I didn't expose her. I protected her. And in doing that, the truth exposed him. The aftermath wasn't dramatic. No shouting. No public scene. Just silence. Distance. And consequences. Real ones. Claire moved out. Slowly rebuilding something that had been taken from her. Not her life. Her control. Her voice. Her identity. We don't talk about Daniel anymore. Not because it doesn't matter. But because it doesn't define her anymore. Sometimes people ask me, how did you know? The answer is simple. I didn't believe the version everyone else accepted. I watched. I listened. And I trusted what didn't feel right. Because sometimes the most dangerous lies are the ones that look perfect. And the strongest people are the ones who learn to see through them.